It's mock draft season, and we're doing a 3-rounder. That's right. I said we, because I got my great friend, Alex from Hail Mary Sports. Welcome. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing great. It's exciting. 3 rounds, 1 trade, kind of 2. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk all about that later. But of course, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's get into this sucker. I'm taking the first pick. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send it.
Okay.
I'm taking the Chicago Bears. And I'm also going to be taking Caleb Williams. Real easy. You get to reset the rookie deal. We end up moving Justin Fields in this mock draft. He ends up going to the Atlanta Falcons. We talked about a couple of other scenarios. We always come back to the Falcons being one of the most likely scenarios.
Yeah.
So the Bears are going to own the second round pick from the Atlanta Falcons in this mock draft. Washington, you're on the board.
All right. So just in case y'all want to see the extended version of this where we lose our absolute minds, feel free to go and check out it on my channel. It is just going to be the 3-rounder with the little Draft Bros logo in the top left because we're also the Draft Bros, which that'll be coming soon. But pick number 2 for Washington, quarterback just appears to be the right thing to do. And with the extended background of Cliff Kingsbury having tons of mobile quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels is the right option. He needs to work on his middle of the field processing, absolutely, but I'll always give credit for every quarterback that can change from one of the worst and most inaccurate passers with highest uncatchable ball rate to being able to hit absolute dimes to really, really fast and very talented receivers. So, got to give him credit where credit's due. This dude could be a superstar.
All right, makes it easy for me. Drake May going to the Patriots because guess what? Mac and cheese ain't the future. Bailey Zappi ain't the future. Drake May can be that. The tools, very intriguing. Not going to overthink it.
Continuing to not overthink things. The Cardinals, just get the best player available. Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. You still need to improve that wide receiver core. It seems like a win-win to me. Get the best player, even though he's probably not going to test because he's not going to be the most flashy player on planet Earth. You don't have to be the flashiest player in order to be the best.
All right, now let's spice things up. I got the Chargers, and this is going to be Jim Harbaugh's first pick. So do we swing for the fences? Like, Malik Neighbors. I love Malik Neighbors. I think that would be a phenomenal pick. You could go Brock Bowers. I think maybe you don't want your first pick as a head coach, as a GM, to be a tight end in the top 5. I think the easier option would be Joe Alt. You go ahead, you solidify your both tackle spots. This is going to be a team that's probably going to want to run the football, run it effectively, and incorporate it in the passing game. Who will be running the rock for them? Maybe we find out this draft. Maybe we don't. Hey, the running back free agent market ain't half bad.
True. And it's a deep class. Not a great class, but there are dudes down there.
Yeah, we could find guys day 2, day 3, UDFA.
Yep, day 4.
Day 4.
Etc. But at pick number 6 for the New York Football Giants, it's pretty obvious that they've been desperate for a weapon for a very long time. Since OBJ, they really haven't had someone who really knocks the socks off of people. Failed project with Kenny Golladay. It is what it is, but you don't have to worry about it anymore. Go back to LSU, get Malik Neighbors, one of the most explosive weapons in the draft, if not the most explosive. Just solve a need with great value.
All right, Tennessee Titans. This is always going to be offensive line. Their offensive line is PP, poo-poo. The question is, and if people will be like, question, Olu's the top guy on the board. Well, I think Talanisa Fuaga is probably the better fit. He comes in there and he will immediately be your starter at right tackle. And it doesn't allow you to give up hope on Andre Dillard. Fuaga, I know people might be down on him. I've seen him go down, like just fall down a variety of different boards. I'm not necessarily in that what would you say?
Space.
Space. Let's go with space. I haven't done a MySpace in forever, but let's go with space.
TBD.
But, yeah, right. I'm not in that space. I think he's probably going to go very soon off the board. But I do think Fuaga ends up being maybe the better pick here for the Tennessee Titans. Olu, you ain't got to move him over to right tackle. Andrew Dillard, you ain't got to get funky with it and have him play guard, though he does have experience at guard. But I'm going to go with Fuaga. Very good.
That's a very fair point. And Tolly was obviously one of my favorite players coming into the year, and I never expected to be right. I honestly didn't expect to be right about him over Olu. And I've made a lot of really awful gut decisions from the get-go. Proud that one really did work. So big fan of Tolly.
Tamari and Terry.
Yeah, exactly. Isaiah McGuire.
At least your guy didn't kill someone.
He killed his draft stock at least. But anyways, pick number 8 with the Atlanta Falcons. We had that trade they got Justin. So trade with the Bears.
Let's also make sure, as you said, that they will likely own the Jaguars' third round pick.
Yes, if they don't re-sign Calvin Ridley. Pretty sure it's a conditional second if they re-sign Calvin. We're playing very conservative here. So regardless, there's only one receiver on the entire roster. Edge rusher is a great position to target here, but when you have Rome Odunze, that is extremely popular amongst NFL front offices. Great build, a great complement as well to Drake London, who possesses almost the opposite traits of Rome Odunze. This just feels right. So take Rome. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. I will say for Chicago, I wanted Rome Odunze so bad.
Yeah.
I did think about Olu Fashanu here. Then you get into the whole where are we going to move Braxton Jones debate? I don't want to open up that can of worms, at least in this mock draft. I'm just going to go with Jared Verse. He's my top edge rusher. It's close between him and Dallas Turner. I do think that Verse is the better fit for Matt Eberflus in that defense. So,
yeah, he's the better complement for Montez Sweat. So, pick 10. Olu Fashanu is still on the board. New York Jets want to protect Aaron Rodgers. Again, it's a spot where you just don't need to overthink it. Mekhi Becton, right tackle, if healthy. If not...
Well, Mekhi Becton is a free agent too, so...
Wait, yeah, if you can keep him. That's asterisk. Hopefully, because that guy's not really going to probably be signed anywhere. But if he stays healthy, if you can re-sign him, then at least you'll have a formidable front for a couple of games.
Minnesota Vikings. I think Kirk Cousins will probably be back with the squad. Because if he's not, then they're going to have to do something drastic at quarterback, which means probably moving up the board. I don't know. Free agency is not here yet. I don't think that's currently... I think it's more likely that they bring back Kirk Cousins than it is that they move up. So I'm just going to pretend. I'm going to close my eyes. Kirk Cousins still in Minnesota. However, Danielle Hunter might not be back. Marcus Davenport might not be back. DJ Wonnum might not be back. Oh, wow. Edge rusher is kind of a big hole now. So let's go ahead and take Dallas Turner. I said him and Jared Verse aren't far from one another on my board. So let's snag them here.
Yes, that edge rushing room technically they haven't added a first round edge rusher since I think 2005, but it's time for a change. It's not like you've won a Super Bowl since 2005, so that's okay. It's not a winnable strategy. Regardless, at pick 12 for the Denver Broncos, this has been a pick that's been widely used from a lot of people, but even with the rumors of Pat Surtain potentially being traded, even if that doesn't happen, they still need a solid corner too, and Terrion Arnold is an absolute monster, extremely smart, very good instincts, solid mobility skills as well. Very versatile. He plays reps in the slot very well. So you just know he's going to be able to play and make an impact day one. And best case scenario, he's an elite corner too. Worst case scenario where you get rid of Pat Surtain, he has to step into a corner one role, and I think he can survive there. So that's a good pick for the team. Just get a player who could be a real impact player.
All right, Las Vegas Raiders. I thought about going quarterback here. Didn't happen. I ended up, I don't know, maybe they believe in Aiden O'Connell maybe the dream is still alive. Regardless, I went with defensive interior help with Byron Murphy as the highest pass rush win rate of any of the defensive interior players in this class. Adam Butler, free agent. Jerry Tillery could be a cap casualty, though he played well for him, but still they need some more guys to have a presence there on the interior.
Fair point. Byron Murphy is both of our ideal ones as well, and it seems to be like that's the new trend. But great size, great ability. Sucks we couldn't see him at the Senior Bowl, but kind of understandable at the same time. So, pick 14 with the New Orleans Saints. I always go for the top tackle on the board, and Amarius Mims at 6'7", 340 pounds makes perfect sense right there. Ryan Ramczyk dealing with some knee injury issues as well, and that could be the long-term place for Amarius Mims, but at least we know in the short term he'll be an upgrade over Trevor Penning. Can't get much worse, so you're going to be getting up at one or both of the spots in the long run.
Yeah. Man, we were talking about how Brock Bowers just falling, and it's like, man,
yeah,
I would love to take corner here. It's pretty darn hard to take corner with Brock Bowers here at 15. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to snag Brock Bowers. Jelani Woods, he was hurt all this whole past season. Mm-hmm. You got Kylan Granson, he's a big slot. Mo Alley Cox.
It's Mo Alley Cox.
It's Mo Alley Cox, man. He's a good tight end too, though.
He's a good tight end. At pick 16 for the Seattle Seahawks, this is a team that throws the idea of positional value and where people should be taken out the window. But I'm going to still believe that they can take a really damn good player. And that left guard spot, atrocious. That center spot could be upgraded if Olu Oluwatimi doesn't work out. I think he will. But someone who could fit both those roles is going to be Jackson Powers Johnson. Great run blocker. He's absolutely ferocious, unending motor. He is a Seahawk through and through.
Freaking love JPJ.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would last to my Dolphins. Kind of figured he probably won't, though.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars. I love going Brian Thomas here, but they just added Ryan Nielsen. Maybe he gets there and he's like, hey, this defense was a mess at the back half of the year. Coverage busts galore. Darius Williams, you only have one more year on your deal. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in some youth. Let's bring in some talent. And Quinion Mitchell had a huge Senior Bowl week. He's a big riser, and he's going here for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a shame you didn't come. I had an extra bed.
Did.
Just so everybody knows. I had a 2-bed hotel room and invited Mr. Schmo every single minute I could. But because you're a good family man.
I am a good family man. I impregnated my wife, and I better be by her side.
Jesus Christ. That is not a verb that I'm used to hearing every day. Moving on at pick 18 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's replace one Bama right tackle with another. Got J.C. Latham on the board. He's going to be an instant upgrade in the run game. Still developing as a pass blocker, but Jonah Williams, get him out of there. Get him out of there. Get the upgrade.
Get out of here, Jonah Williams.
Just get out.
I'm still cracking
Maybe
up.
go to the Jets if they don't want to bring back bum Mekhi Becton.
No, dude, you know where Jonah Williams is going. He's going to the Patriots. They got all that money to spend. They're like, let's get us a tackle. Riley Reeve, we'll bring in Jonah Williams. All right.
Just a younger version of the same thing.
Yeah, right. All right, we got the Los Angeles Rams. Rams, a big problem there. I would have loved Leatu Latu here. I thought about it, but I really do like going corner here. They're either very small, like Trey Tomlinson at corner, or they're very big and slow, like Darion Kendricks at corner. Why not both? Nate Wiggins is both. He is 185, but he's also the youngest cat in this corner class. He will put on that weight. He's 6'2". He will fill out that frame, but he brings a lot of movement skills, a lot of athleticism.
Damn.
Do I feel aggressive?
Yeah, I know. I was like, damn. That was like,
I know you used to hate Nate Wiggins, so I feel like I had to put on a strong front.
Hold up now. He was a top 40 player for me this whole time. Pipe down. I just ended up with him now being a top 20 player.
When you talk about a second or third round pick,
I'm more
Sounds like you're
pessimistic.
talking about like a 6th, 7th UDFA.
It was funny. Like when we were talking earlier, I was like, you're like, yeah, no, I think he'd be really good. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really think that. Like, I don't think he's that good. And I had him higher than you did. That's just,
Dude.
I swear. It's like the difference in opinion. I'm the guy where when I say
Not
good,
even
I
the
mean
difference in
starter.
opinion. It's difference in the manner we speak about these guys.
And this is true. This is true. Our methodologies are different, but in the end, we get to a similar spot. But yes,
I really like this
him.
guy. Oh, 3rd round. Oh, he's the worst thing on the world. Midday 2.
Late second. Yeah, like early 3rd round pick, late second. But no, Nate Wiggins, extremely smart player as well. I love his field instincts. At pick 20 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, with no offensive tackles on the board, maybe we could snag Jonah Williams from the Patriots if we can. God help us. I'm gonna go with Ennis Rakestraw Jr.
2.0. That's just future Dan Moore, Jonah Williams.
Well, at least it's right tackle Dan Moore. We can kick Broderick to left tackle. We'll only have a right tackle Dan Moore. No blindside Dan Moore for us. But I'm gonna go Ennis Rakestraw Jr. here for the Steelers. I debated Kool-Aid McKinstry, but Ennis Rakestraw has excellent movement skills. He's very physical, and he has that experience playing reps in the slot as well. I think with 1 year left with Patrick Peterson and also the similar play style to JPJ, I think they complement each other very, very well, and they can just definitely have the higher ceiling with that duo.
All right. Fins up, baby. It's the Dolphins. I get the Dolphins. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. Oh, no. There's no tackles to pick. Oh, no. Jackson Powers Johnson's off the board. Thanks a lot, Alex. You literally drafted them all.
I screwed my team over, too. You forget about that part.
Yeah. Are we even true fans?
I know, right?
All right.
Become too many draftees at this point.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go with, hey, there's talent on the board that I really like in Brian Thomas Jr. That's a 3rd wide receiver to the mix there. I know maybe not sound appealing to some Dolphins fans, but Tyreek, what he says he's done after the contract's over. This gives a 3rd option because, hey, Waddle, sure, he played games this year, but he was constantly hurt. You know, he was constantly leaving. I remember I had him on fantasy. I was like, Waddle's in the blue tent. It was literally every game. Every game. So it's like, hey, let's just grab some more guys, grab some more talent. This is a team that wants to distribute the football. Let's get some more people we can distribute to.
True. Also, you take Brian Thomas as an option away from the Bills and the Chiefs, who could be looking for their wide receiver too. Screw them.
We lost to him 3 times this year.
Well, now because you have Brian Thomas and they don't, you will win 3 times against those teams.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to be an optimist here. But pick 22 for the Philadelphia Eagles, we kind of took an approach of what we would like to do, obviously within the realm of possibility, but I ended up taking Cooper DeJean. Now, this guy provides every aspect you can ever want from a boundary corner, from a slot, and from a safety. This guy's the dream defensive back, just fractured his leg in November, and that's the only reason he's here. He's a fluid mover. I think that he needs a little bit better in terms of his overall movement in all directions. 360, I don't think his movement skills are as polished as really like north-south. That's why I think he's going to be a top 10 safety in the NFL or a really good slot. Ultimately, I thought Cooper DeJean is one of those guys that can actually match up toe-to-toe with CeeDee Lamb, use the physicality that you need, and also fill in while Sidney Brown's returning from his ACL. I think Kevin Byard's also going to be a cap casualty, so you're pretty much stuck with Ed Reed Blankenship, but you need somebody else to combo that as well. He's just a fun piece to play with for Fangio.
All right, so I got the Texans. Miko Ryans, he loves a very deep defensive line rotation. I imagine they bring back Jonathan Grenard, they bring back Derek Barnett, who really, really tore it up down the stretch, but grabbing more presence in that interior, I think it'd go a long way. Drazon Newton on the board kind of feels good. I did play with the idea of maybe a Tyler Guyton. It's in there. It's in my mind, but I'm going to go with Drazon Newton for now.
I think it's the good move. I love Drazon Newton. Great player. Obviously, he was somebody who wasn't highlighted enough in the last draft cycle, decided to return, and then he's always been at the forefront of this one, which is good. At pick 24, I am going to go after Tyler Guyton for the Cowboys. Extremely developmental, needs about 1 more year of development. Like at minimum half a year. But Tyron Smith not going to be there forever, and he is such an aggressive player. Reminds me a lot of Tyler Smith coming out in terms of his overall mentality. Different play style, but overall mentality very similar. Just very aggressive, excited to make dudes absolutely regret going up against him. This is a guy who could be at the forefront of the Cowboys offensive line for the next decade.
Okay, Green Bay Packers. I like going corner here. There's typically good corner talent available. It's kind of wild that already we have, 5 corners off the board. So it's like, okay, you know what? If we want it, we got to kind of send it here. I'm a big fan of Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah.
Eric Stokes, hurt all this season. Jair Alexander, he was struggling with not struggling, but he had a shoulder issue in parts this season. So having that depth isn't a bad thing. Having talent isn't a bad thing. Having competition isn't a bad thing, especially when it is the most volatile position in the NFL. So I'm going to go ahead and snag him here.
Yeah, we love Kool-Aid. At pick 26, Kool-Aid's good. Honestly, Kool-Aid now gets a bad rap because everybody thinks it's a kid's drink, but there's some worse drinks out there.
Oh, dude, I got Sunny D in the fridge.
That's not the only place. Pick 26 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got Leatu Latu coming off the board. I think that his blend of athleticism and just pure upside fits exactly what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should be looking for. Got your veterans still there to make sure that everything is polished off, but it's very hard to find a player who is that damn good day one. Needs a little bit more lower body power, in my opinion, and he does actually a pretty damn good job using his length to the maximum ability, but potentially he had to retire medically, if I'm not mistaken, from Washington. So that could possibly drop him down the board if you end up seeing that on draft night.
Yep. Arizona Cardinals. I did want to go defense here. Corner, it's kind of out of my hands. There's 6 corners off the board. I'm sorry. Devondre Sweat was a thought, though. Could go with the next edge player. Ultimately, though, I was like, you know what? They got a hole at left guard. Yep. And Troy Fautanu could moonlight as tackle as well. I know DJ Humphries will be recovering from a late season ACL injury. I think it was ACL. Don't quote me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're going to grab Fautanu here to be left guard of the future who can play left tackle potentially.
All right. At pick 28 with the Buffalo Bills, since we do not have the option for Brian Thomas Jr., I want to go a very unique route. I don't think that this role has really been solidified in this receiving core, but Keon Coleman at 6'4", 215 brings something that they just don't have. Guy who can go up and get it. Would love to see him go 70 yards downfield. Let Josh Allen just say, screw it, go for it, and then change a 50-50 ball to an 80-20 ball.
All right. Don't love that for the Dolphins, but okay. Detroit Lions. Corner. Again, it's out of my hands, guys. I'm sorry. There's 6 of them off the board. There's 6 corners off the board. So we could go edge. I thought about it, but instead, I'm going to go with Devondre Sweat. He might not be a 3-down guy, but I think he's going to be one heck of a run stuffer. That's what they love so much about Benito Jones, but he is going to also be capable of pushing the pocket.
Just a quick question for you. So how do you think that this affects Broderick Martin from last year? Because he was kind of mini Jordan Davis, like Walmart clearance Jordan Davis.
Yeah, man, I feel like he ends up being the more the pass rush option then, you know? There in the middle. They could have both those guys on the field at the same time. They saw injuries with Aleem McNeil. Mm-hmm. So they could totally have these guys on the field at the same time. Or if you don't think either of them are 3-down players, you kind of solve that problem by having both of them. True. I mean, at the end of the day, I look at Sweat and I'm just like, yeah, man, that's a guy Dan Campbell wants to put a race car helmet on and ask to go through a brick wall.
Yeah, he is a beast. I love Devondre Sweat. Pick 30 for the Baltimore Ravens. My goal is to replace Odell Beckham Jr. with someone who's cheaper, more effective, and just overall better. That's Troy Franklin, 6'3", 190 pounds, just extremely fluid mover, consistent over the past couple years, and just continues to dominate no matter where he is.
All right, I have the San Francisco No, I don't. I have the Kansas City
You got the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Ha ha hee hee. Oh man, I would have loved Troy Franklin here. Kind of is
Yep.
what it is, but I still feel like I need to go wide receiver. Want to go wide receiver, so I am going to go wide receiver with A.D. Mitchell. Mitchell, to me, probably more early second round, but hey, I mean, it's the back end of the first round. I don't care. Let's do it. Send it. He's a very good route runner, and on top of that, he brings that long field speed, man. He was such a good deep threat. Get you a more consistent MVS.
Awesome. At pick 32 for the San Francisco 49ers, my goal is to use Trent Williams' expertise as much as possible. I wish Tyler Guyton were available because I think that would be the best possible scenario, but there's another tackle that has had a full year of experience at right tackle and also has experience now at left tackle. That's Kingsley Suamataia. The dude definitely is not going to be your day one starter that you expect at 32. But I think with an offseason under Trent Williams and a continual year or maybe two, you could certainly get yourself the contingency plan to replace Trent while also having a stopgap there at right tackle.
Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase. And it's a great way to support the channel. Round 2, and it's the Carolina Panthers. Finally. Now, wide receiver, it's a popular pick here, beginning of round 2. But I don't know, I'm kind of buying into Brian Burns might actually hit free agency. Or you brought up in our other video, a tag and trade, which would be very smart if they were not going to go further with Brian Burns. Regardless, I think I might just go with another just freaky athlete at the edge position that we just haven't talked about a lot recently in Chop Robinson.
Chop.
And we'll see what's at wide receiver in round 3.
All right, so the Patriots, pick 34. We got the quarterback. Now it's either time to get an offensive tackle or to go after a receiving weapon. Patriots are also one of those teams that doesn't really have regard for, well, I guess that was back when Bill was drafting, but they didn't really have a regard for where people think players should go. They just get their guy. And I'm tired of the Patriots trying to get value weapons at receiver. So I'm going to get somebody who actually brings a great physical profile and is just great in all phases of the game. That's Jalen Polk out of Washington, 6'2", 204 pounds, great after the catch. One of those guys who didn't get enough publicity because he had the number 8 overall pick and Rome Odunze by his side. So,
all right, Cardinals, I went with offense for both their first round picks. Now we're going to flip to the defense. I'm going to snag a little physicality, go with B.J. Ojulari and Braylon Trice.
Nice little 1-2 punch.
Oh, yeah.
At pick 36 for the Washington Commanders, Jordan Morgan is here. And whether he can last as a tackle or a guard, I don't think it really matters. What you're going to get is when you find the role for him, you're going to get a solid, great athlete with a ton of upside.
All right, I got the Chargers. This is Mr. Harbaugh's second pick. I took Joe Alt, and I think I'm going to stick with the offense. I'm going to get that wide receiver because wide receivers are kind of flying off the board here. And this may come to the surprise of a few people, but I actually really like Ricky Pearsall, man. I think he brings a route, one of the best, I would say, route runners in this class. He's got that speed to beat you vertically. Initially going into the Senior Bowl, I thought he was kind of a vertical slot, but he's very good at the contested catch point, just a ball player. So we're going to add him to that receiving core that likely loses Mike Williams, maybe even potentially Keenan Allen.
So at pick 38 for the Tennessee Titans, I want to continue giving them a little bit more youth, even though he's not that young, but still younger than the weapons that they have. Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, 6'1", 220 pounds, very versatile. You can use him anywhere. And I think this is just a building piece for a very elite receiving core for Callahan.
All right, man, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm pulling the trigger on a quarterback here for the Giants. Danny Dimes, psh, I hardly ever knew ye. I'm going to go with J.J. McCarthy. They are stuck with Danny Dimes for one more year, which allows McCarthy to sit, at least initially, could end up playing later in the year, obviously. But he's a guy that I think is probably going to go a lot higher just because the NFL is going to love him. They're going to love the tools. We already know he's got the tools. And they're going to love how he interviews. So the question is not how, like, when will J.J. McCarthy go? He's going to go first round, second round? Third round, it's going to be how high.
Yeah, that's true. I think, what do you think is the highest team for JJ? I was thinking, honestly, with the Seahawks, since they have Geno for one more year, and apparently the NFL loves him, the spot where they can sit him.
I would push that to the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos for an extra year.
Yeah.
I could see that too. Yeah, is what it is. Pick 40 with Washington. If those of y'all, or for those of y'all who are subbed to my channel, you know how much I love offensive line. We just took Jordan Morgan, right? I mean, we should be good. But we don't even know if Jordan Morgan's going to be a tackle. And tackle is pretty damn awful on this team. And there's actually a better tackle than Jordan Morgan. And it's Karan Amajaje out of Yale. He might need a little bit of time to get up to speed. He'll be there by training camp, tore his quad. That's why he didn't play in the Senior Bowl. But he's a consensus top 50 player coming out of Yale as a tackle. He needs more refinement, but he's a great athlete, and he has just so much more room to grow. It's a long-term investment.
I like it. I really think Washington might part ways with not just like Leno, but also Wiley. So
yeah,
they could be in the market for 2 tackles.
Which you either get both, potentially, or just one.
There we go. All right, Green Bay Packers. Oh, man. So I ended up ultimately settling on Graham Barton here, right? He can play maybe tackle for y'all, but he's at least going to be an interior player. I kind of see him as a center, which is perfect. Josh Myers ain't nothing special. Or immediately he could fill in at right guard, I think is where Runyon was playing. So
there you go. We love that versatility. Going back for another center and tackle hybrid after getting Zach Tom. Pick 42.
All the versatility in the world. I want it all.
All of it. Pick 42. Michael Penix has fallen too far. I know we talked about earlier when we said Kirk Cousins will remain. Michael Penix's big issue, sure, it's his age, but quarterbacks last until they're like 35, 40 years old at this point. There's a lot of rules making sure that they stay healthy. Michael Penix had 3 season-ending injuries. Now, he's been healthy for the past 2 years. You said 4?
Yeah, 2 ACLs, 2 shoulders.
Even worse. 4. He's been healthy for the past 2 years. I think that he will have an adjustment period to the NFL in terms of contact. That's something that does concern me. But this allows him to sit for a portion. Or if you want to get rid of Kirk, that allows you to do it by a trade deadline. But he has all the talent in the world. He needs a little bit more mechanical tweaking. And who better to learn from than Kirk Cousins? It's a great value for a position that could really elevate this roster.
All right, Bears are up. They got this via from the Justin Fields trade to the Falcons. And I'm going to get that replacement for Cody Whitehair. I'm going to grab Zach Frazier, man. Dude is mean. He is so mean that when he broke his leg, he bear crawled off the field. He was like, don't use the timeout. I'm coming. Golly, dude. And, dude, he was walking around apparently at the Senior Bowl. It's wild.
I don't remember seeing him.
He didn't practice, obviously.
Yeah.
But he was there to do meet and greets, interviews, and whatnot.
Interesting. Well, at pick 44, the Raiders passed on a QB in round 1. There's still one on the board, and that's Bo Nix. At 44, that's damn good value. He's a good player, game manager, sure. But you have great weapons here. He has the mobility to get around maybe a little bit of a fluky offensive line, and he knows how to handle pressure. He's come from Auburn, where he didn't do too well, but that whole entire team was kind of screwed from the beginning.
Still have been.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Auburn is travesty. But
Kirito in my comments in my chat's not going to like that. Oh, man. But I got the Saints, right? You took our Marius Mims. I think I'm going to stick with the trenches, but this time on the defensive side of the football. Cam Jordan is trying to run away his best from Father Time, but there's only so much you can do. He's going to catch up to you. I think the Saints, they love them some power at the edge position, and to me, another guy that impressed at the Senior Bowl, it was Marshawn Kneeland. He might really only have like that bull rush, but he has so many counters and secondary moves from that bull rush, and he brings a lot of power. He's gonna be a very good run defender. People are talking about him top 50, deservingly so.
I love the fact that you bring up the secondary moves, because I think that's something that's not really focused on. There's a lot of guys in this class, and in most classes in general, that have one particular move that works, but they don't know how to take advantage of, let's just say, when an offensive tackle is off balance with a secondary move to finish the job. And being able to have that is a really elite trait. And I haven't been able to fully grade Marshawn Kneeland, so I'm not going to make any claims to it, but I trust your analysis. I trust your analysis of it. And I think that is a trait well worth commending. So even though it's a weird name that not many people know, that's a trait that you really want in a player. At pick 46 for the Indianapolis Colts, I wish that there were better corners here. I know there's TJ Tampa, who honestly fits a Juju Brents mold pretty damn well, but Christian Haynes is a top 20 player on my board. Super athletic, super versatile. This was more of a, like, again, we also factor in what we wanted to do. I love Christian Haynes, and I think he'll be an upgrade over Will Freeze. So you're going to be able to get that upgrade and that longer term contract.
Yeah. And I mean, also Ryan Kelly is up there in years too. So
true.
So I really wanted Haynes at pick 47. So that really sucks. So I kind of had to go to plan B. Yep. Decided just to get KT some help out there on the edge. Aziz can't stay healthy. I like Chris Braswell. Didn't have the week I expected him to, but you still see a lot of the power in his frame. He'll come in there and be a good number 2 with KT.
Fair point. No, Chris Braswell, I never got enamored by him, but he's just a solid, consistent edge rusher. And that's sometimes what you need when you have the flashy guy in KT, is just get someone that you know how they're going to play all the time. So I totally understand that. At pick 48, we have the Jaguars, and Balky loves his freak athletes with crazy length and all the measurables. I mean, hell, he chose Travon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. So he's going to continue to go down and get his type. Darius Robinson should have went earlier, but he dropped 10 pounds. I know we were talking about it. I was hoping that he would end up just dropping weight and building his athleticism while maintaining strength. Much easier said than done, but he did it. And that's why he was very, very talented at the Senior Bowl. Sure, maybe it's not a one-to-one replication of what will happen on plays where you have 3 seconds to get to the quarterback, but he ended up showing, at least in that environment, he could succeed, and he was way more explosive. That is something that Balky truly loves to see.
Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to go the corner route. They got Chidobe Awuzie is going to be a free agent. They probably need to they probably wouldn't mind adding more size at the corner, because like you look at like DJ Turner. Can he play on the outside full time?
That's pretty small.
Who knows?
Yeah.
They also got Cam Taylor-Britt there, who I really like. So maybe kick Turner into the slot. Because they got Mike Hilton there, who I think is a free agent. Actually,
I think he might be, because I think DJ Turner's supposed to be the slot for the long run.
If not, he might have just like another year or something.
He's not there for long.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with TJ Tampa. I think he'd be a good fit for Coach Lou's defense.
Pick 50 for the Eagles. We need to get the linebackers off at some point, and there's no linebacker fit better than Edgerrin Cooper to a big fan.
We need to get these linebackers off.
It's a get out, get off the board. Edgerrin Cooper is going to be the choice. He's honestly great on the line of scrimmage as well. I'm not a fan of him as an off-ball linebacker, but when he's on the line of scrimmage, I think he actually could be worth a late first-round pick.
Yeah, I think he'll grow in that aspect. He wasn't asked to do much there at A&M, but
Yeah.
dude's long and he's athletic. You got to think it'll click eventually.
Yeah.
Rams, man. Didn't love a lot of the picks. I could do the funny thing. We could do Lad McConkey. Get another wide receiver there for Cooper Kupp.
Whitey.
But no, instead I'm going to go with the first safety off the board in Tyler Nubin. Currently, Jordan Fuller's a free agent. Quentin Lake's mainly the slot guy, and he did a phenomenal job this year at that. So, yeah, going to add Nubin to that. Nice, long, little explosiveness to him. Long speed, but it's fine.
So, yeah, that was my biggest issue with Nubin was the fact that I don't think he's an amazing athlete. But what team is better at taking subpar athletes and making them really damn good at safety than the Rams? I mean, Taylor Rapp, Bowler.
Hey, I got to name names.
Yeah, we just saying they're really good at making players who are not combine monsters into actually very good NFL players. So I could end up actually seeing that work out as an actual pick and actually end up being better than what I ever expected. We're back with the Steelers, though. Pick 52. I know center is going to be what y'all are clamoring for, or a tackle. Tackles aren't really good here. Just to be completely blunt with y'all, I'm not a fan of Patrick Paul on this team. So we're going to go Junior Colson. Our linebackering core, not great. Honestly, we're filling it with a bunch of old dudes who are trying to go back to their actual prime. Not going to happen. Junior Colson, 6'3", through 250 pounds, a true Mike linebacker, and he's a really good one. So go back to Michigan and this time get an actually proper sized linebacker.
You didn't have to throw shade at my next pick like that, because I'm taking Patrick Paul for the Dolphins. I think he could be a good developmental prospect. I'd rather take him in the second round than Austin Jackson first round, who didn't really click until his contract year. Patrick Paul, he could sit behind potentially Terran Armstead, who again don't know if he ends up retiring after this season. That's yet to be known, but. Hey, we got our tackle. Yay, we got offensive line help. That's all I want.
To be fair, I don't think we have a Terran Armstead on the Steelers to be able to train Patrick Paul. Do not want Dan Moore to be training Patrick Paul, or else Patrick Paul will just remain Patrick Paul. That being said, pick 54 for the Eagles. They met with this player twice during the Senior Bowl. I ended up meeting this player myself. Cool dude. Great for a wide receiver 3 option. His name is Lad McConkey. He was honestly probably the best receiver there at the Senior Bowl. Just absolutely dynamic. Might have pushed himself in the first round, but at 5'11", 190, hard to really say when he's going to be locked into a pretty specific role.
Yeah. Well, you took receiver. I think I'm going to take receiver for the Browns. I'm going to get them some speed kills. And Xavier Worthy is, in fact, speed. Probably goes higher than this, because I imagine people are going to look at his combine and be like, oh, yeah, he's a player in this draft class. I mean, dude's probably going to run a sub 4.3, so...
He's a really good deep threat, but, I mean, we did see Jalen Hyatt run really well and still end up. I mean, he is similar build to Jalen Hyatt as well. Over 6 foot.
Better, much better route runner, though.
We'll agree to disagree. I thought, to be fair, I was higher on Jalen Hyatt than most people, so I have a little bit of a biased opinion on that. Rather than a shade
of the other way.
Yeah, I like we're on two different sides for one player, not Xavier Worthy. At pick 56, the Cowboys thought about going a center here as well. We've already went that tackle route with Tyler Guyton. And I think that it would be a great idea with the value that's on the board. I just don't see a better fit than adding the running mate of Mozzie Smith and Chris Jenkins. He slipped down the board. He's a great run defender, 305 pounds. And I think Mozzie Smith just had too high of expectations being a first round pick. He's an athlete that needed more refinement. He was an explosive player. Now he's going to have another year under his belt, and you're having someone who's a little bit more polished to come in. So you might see both of them succeed at the same time. Great chemistry is just a way to overall boost the D-line.
All right, we're at pick 57, and I haven't seen a running back off the board. Let's go ahead and end that. I'm gonna grab Trey Benson. I'm a big fan of Trey Benson. I think he is the top back in this class, and I am so sure that this will now set a domino effect where running back just flies off the board.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Pick 58
Spoiler.
for the spoiler alert. Pick 58 for the Buccaneers. I decided to go Cooper Beebe. Just not someone who gets enough love. He's one of the players with prospect fatigue. Just not an exciting player. Just a really consistent, solid guard. Maybe a little bit of a subpar athlete, but super consistent. And honestly, in Tampa Bay, that's what you should be looking for. Get someone who just does their job
They need
well.
left guard.
They need help.
He fits that.
He fits it.
Houston Texans. Dalton Schultz is a free agent. It was only a matter of time before Jatavion Sanders got snagged off the board because this tight end class it's here.
Cheeks.
It's here.
Yeah. Jatavion's a good player. He's by far the second best tight end.
Oh yeah.
There's not much competition. Yeah, not much competition there.
You could probably even go higher than this too.
I think he might go to the Chargers in round 2, like higher in round 2. I think that's his rough ceiling. Because again, we talked about Harbaugh loving his tight ends, this class not being very good. Brett Coleman saying that Jatavion to Brock gap is not as big as people think.
Oh really? That's what he said?
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
I'm there on that one.
I'm not there on that one, but I mean, maybe that's just because people think Jatavion is butt cheeks compared to Brock. He kind of is, but that's just because Brock is good.
Brock is
like
good.
really, really good. But regardless, at pick 60, the Buffalo Bills still are looking for that defensive back. They got a Keon Coleman in round 1. So I'm going to get him Cam Kinchins here in round 2. Should have been a first round player, just had a bit of an off final year and technically Senior Bowl, but the potential's there. See if he ends up reaching that potential.
Detroit Lions, I'm getting you a corner. Don't worry. It's here. I'm grabbing Kamari Lassiter. Very technically refined corner there.
Very smart, good movement skills as well. At pick 62, we know the Baltimore Ravens are an organization that just loves to select 3 letters, BPA, best player available. Jonah Ellis is a top 32 prospect in this class. On the lighter side, sure, but the edge rushers are also not performing very well there in Baltimore compared to where the other teams in your own division that are actually doing a much better job. So grab Jonah Ellis. He might be on the lighter side, but he plays physical. I have him comped to a miniature Dallas Turner, even though he is technically 4 pounds heavier.
Oh, no, I think Turner's actually going to be the heavier one. He's probably going to be 250.
Well, as of right now, he's listed 242. As of now, talk about it in a month.
Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know how they retain Chris Jones, but even if they do, get some help there on the interior. Leonard freaking Taylor.
Yeah.
I love him, dude. Put him in the 3-tech and let him just run rough shop. Do you, dude, baby? Do you? Mario Cristobal not knowing how to use talent. Not a surprise to me.
Honestly, though. I mean, we need to get Miami hoodies, dude. They have some sick colors. That's like one of those universities I should have gotten one from. I'm wearing a freaking Pepperdine hoodie right now. Sick Pepperdine hoodie.
Player 1, baby.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this was when I had my first kid. Now I'm on player 3.
That's funny. I like that. That's a good backstory. Okay, pick 64 for the 49ers. They're also a team that does not care about your opinion on where players are supposed to go. They apparently don't care about my opinion on who they're supposed to take, even though the whole entire reason I started this whole entire draft thing is because I've ended up having a little bit of mentorship from their scouting director.
Are you taking kicker?
Very funny. I mean, I think that's a... Dude, you know what I'm taking. Get out of here. I'm going to be taking Dwight McLaughlin, cornerback out of Arkansas. I'm going to put my special twist on being able to get a player who probably shouldn't be going in the second round, but he, in my opinion, should be. But I think that's what the Niners could do. It's a great player, and he has just so much potential at 6'2", 190.
Yeah. I'm just clowned on like Moody, but there's a chance he might have a Super Bowl ring in year 1.
Well, dude, I mean, to be fair, we could make fun of Roberto Aguayo. Remember that one? Second round pick? That's wild.
bad.
Oh man.
All right, round 3, man. Let's do this sucker. Panthers need a wide receiver. I need a separator. I need someone to give freaking Bryce Young some separation from the defense, man. And you know who was doing that at the Senior Bowl? You do.
Who?
It was Roman Wilson.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, what a shot.
Didn't see that one coming.
Oh. Yeah, but Roman Wilson's nice, dude. I saw a few people who were like, oh yeah, he's kind of like this year's like Jaden Reed, and I was like, oh, that's not far off. I don't mind that.
I've always liked Roman Wilson. I don't remember. Doesn't he have like injury histories before?
I don't recall.
I'm trying to remember.
Could look it up, but I don't feel like looking at my big board. He's like a slot guy. Like he's got slot size.
Yeah.
He actually has some legit ball skills. It's just I don't feel great about him like in the short to intermediate, like after the catch, and like he's definitely someone that can't play on the outside like a ton.
Fair.
He's gonna get bullied.
He's gonna be in the slot for the most part. Good player overall though. I really did like him, but I thought I was told by somebody there was one particular statistic that bothered me when they brought it up. So I'm trying to remember what that is. But anywho, pick number 66 for the Arizona Cardinals. We missed corner earlier on in the draft. No more. Cam Hart had a phenomenal Senior Bowl week. He had some stumbles here and there. Every corner did. Those drills are designed to make the corners lose. So remember, every time that you see a win, make sure that you see how the other player loses. Cam Hart lost very well. He's a very talented corner, big fan of him, and this is a great value for him. He could end up even being a second-round pick.
All right, we're sitting here in the 3rd round, and we have yet to get edge help for the Washington Commanders. They'll probably look to spend in free agency, but still, let's get a guy here. Deese Isaac also had a very solid Senior Bowl, just flew off the line of scrimmage. I was actually pretty impressed with run defense and the run drills and the team drills. I was like, oh, I didn't think he was that good. Look at him.
He's a very smart player. What I love about him is he has actually the second highest football IQ grade from my own scouting. Like he just knows where the ball is. Big fan of that. Some players I love them and they just don't know where the ball is. That's not Deese Isaac. But at pick 68 for the New England Patriots, I took a wide receiver earlier, but I'm a sucker for storylines. I really am. And I want to pair Drake May, fake May, back up with Devontae Walker. This team needs receiving help anyways, so might as well just continue throwing it at the ball and see what sticks.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Tez didn't drop balls a lot from Drake May, so.
But did from everybody else.
Yeah. All right, man. Harbaugh, he's got to get his Michigan guy. I'm going to go with Mike Sainris still here. Phenomenal athlete, just flies all over the stinking field. Yeah, he's going to be the slot. Yeah, I wish I could have got the Chargers maybe a little bit more size, a little bit more girth at corner. But hey, he's playing the slot here. That's fine. That's A-okay. Going to coaching staff, actually, that's very familiar with him.
Yep. No, Mikey will bring just such a good energy to the squad, especially if they do have all these cap casualties. Morale might be relatively low. This is the type of guy to fire the guys back up. So very underrated trait as well. At pick 70 for the New York Giants, already gone through quarterback, wide receiver, and edge rusher. I think this guy bleeds blue. He is also from that New England area. It's Christian Mahogany, guard out of Boston College. He's just been extremely under the radar, but he just feels like a New York football giant. He run blocks like a mother trucker. I love what he brings to the table. Great player.
All right. I want to take a swing for the Arizona Cardinals on a swing on a player who's got some injury concerns, but looks like honestly probably would have been my linebacker one if not for that. I love the way Peyton Wilson just flies around the football. The dude is a football player through and through. Very sure tackler this season as well.
True that.
True.
Okay, so for the New York Jets, I just had water get all over my face. Pause. New York Jets, we got a tackle on Olu Fashanu earlier on. And at this pick, because we don't have a second, it's Aaron Rodgers. Luckily, y'all did have it first. Imagine that. But Jermaine Burton is here. And I love Jermaine. He's a top 32 player on my board. Super fluid as a route runner, 6 foot, 200 pounds, really good build. And he's just honestly been underperforming, but he's had those games where he has almost 200 yards. He shows the flashes. That's why he's picked 72. But I think with the right attention, this guy could be far more consistent making big plays.
Okay, Detroit Lions, we grabbed our corner. We got our beef in the middle. I don't love the edge talent available here, though it's fine. Lions got money. Maybe they could bring in someone free agency. But I'm going to go with the interior. Both your guard spots are available unless they bring back like a Jonah Jackson, which even if they do, they still need to bring in someone else. And I'm going to go with Dominic Pooney, who looked good. He played tackle this past season for Kansas. Everyone in their mobs projected him as a guard, but then he played center on freaking day 2 of the Senior Bowl. I was like, oh my gosh, can you just do it all? Yes, please.
Dude, I mean, he was very fun to watch. It's a big surprise seeing him there in Mobile, but that's what I love about Mobile so much. Random guys like Dominic Pooney get to be put in one-on-one situations that you don't see in game reps. You get to fall in love with them there too. At pick 74, back with the Falcons, and being able to acquire Justin Fields as well as Romo Dunze is great, but we still got to fix that edge rushing problem. Javon Solomon is about 247 pounds, getting close to that 250 mark, and he has some highlight reel plays. This team didn't have a single edge rusher over 6.5 sacks. It's time to give a little bit of boost. Troy's not a great place to have a ton of prospects come out of, but sometimes that's where you find the best players, is where you don't expect them.
All right, Bears. I haven't got y'all a receiver yet. I know. You got edge. I got you a quarterback. I got. Will we get them in the second? A center. Ah, yes, because you needed a center. Now we'll get that wide receiver. I'm a big fan of Javon Baker out of Central Florida. I think the dude's pretty twitched up early. He has a good release off the line of scrimmage and just knows how to find the ball and make plays. Does a good job of just high point in the catch point. A lot of points there.
Lots of points.
A lot of points to be made.
At pick 76, we have the Denver Broncos, who selected Terrion Arnold round number 1. They still need help in that edge core pretty desperately. At least being able to get another guy into that rotation. And this guy ended up showing out at the Shrine Bowl. He's lost 20 pounds over the past couple of years, which to me is a little bit of a concern, but that's the only reason he has slid down my board quite a bit. It's Xavier Thomas out of Clemson. He was one of the best prospects coming out of high school, and he's been actually very underrated in terms of his performance after.
Okay, Raiders, we grabbed Byron Murphy. I love it. Bo Nix, I love it. And I'm going to love it even more. I'm a big fan of the corner out of Florida State, Renardo Green. I think he's ideally a press corner in the NFL. Raiders definitely use more depth, more talent there at the corner position. Go with them here. I love it.
I love Florida State DBs. Pick 78 for the Seattle Seahawks. I want to stay local, and I want to be able to grab a great impact player year 1. I'm going at Def 1, Olufosho, a linebacker, 6'1", 240 pounds. The dude's going to be an absolute animal, and he's just reliable. Good player.
Yeah, he is. Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's traded to the Falcons.
Oh, thank goodness. I was like, I don't have this. I knew I didn't do one of these trades. Oh. So,
for those of y'all who are watching, we explained it earlier, but the original trade was, I believe, a 2023 5th-round pick and a 2024 conditional 4th-round pick. And the 4th-round pick would become a 3rd if Calvin Ridley played 60% of the snaps or got 75 receptions or got 1,000 yards. He's gotten there. Then if he re-signs a contract, it becomes a 2nd-round pick. So this is 95% going to be the Falcons pick. Or Falcons could get an even better pick. So that's why.
I don't see it happening. I see they're probably just going to let Calvin Ridley go to free agency.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have fun.
Bye-bye.
So now that I'm here with the Falcons, golly gee, let's get some quarterback help. for our good buddy AJ Terrell, and Jarvis Brownlee had probably by far one of the most impressive Senior Bowls for a guy that was just kind of not on people's radar.
That's
really
true.
Good, man. Very good. Very fluid mover. Guy that has experience in both press and off coverage.
He was really aggressive. I did appreciate that from him. He put up a fight every single rep. At pick 80 for the Bengals, I have to give it up. I love Johnny Wilson. Got to see him got to see him in high school, rival high school at Calabasas there. Same thing with Jermaine Burton. Could have brought that up, but is what it is. I think that he could be a transition to a tight end. But if T. Higgins is gone, then I still think it's a great move. I think if you will end up just wanting to keep T. Higgins, he can end up being a great tight end. So either way, you're going to be getting an asset.
Okay. Seattle Seahawks, they have a lot of edge rushers that are free, or edge rushers, defensive interior players that are free agents. So let's just go ahead, grab some depth there on the interior. Going with Dwayne Carter. Dude's got a nasty bull move. And yeah, man, a guy that he brings the size, come in, a good run defense. I imagine they bring back Leonard Williams. So, boom, you got Carter there to help.
Yeah, Dwayne Carter also had a very, very good Senior Bowl week. He was very underwhelming in terms of his actual tape study compared to the actual numbers, but you got to see him truly flourish there in Mobile, which is a big plus. Pick 82 for the Indianapolis Colts. Kalen Bullock has fallen too far. Justin Blackman's up for a contract. Might as well go back to the Pac-12 to replace him, but Kalen Bullock just basically is best player available.
Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to get that left tackle that they so desperately need. Another guy who had a very good Senior Bowl week. Christian Jones was a better mover than I expected. I already knew that the dude's got the play strength, got the power, but man, he just looks like a guy that is beyond his years when it comes to like technique, how to use his hands, whatnot. So yeah, he's going to come in there and he's going to contend for left tackle for the Rams.
That's a good pick. At pick 84 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to go Joe Milton. Just kidding. It's Cedric Van Pran.
I was going to say, you're going tight end again?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We need that depth tight end there. Arthur Smith loves his tight ends. What can I say?
He does love his tight ends.
But yeah, we're going to go Cedric Van Pran. Instant chemistry there with Broderick Jones. Need a center pretty damn badly. This is the proper value for him.
Dolphins forfeited their pick. End me now, but before I do that, I got a pick for the Houston Texans. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to snag Javon Bullard. Big fan of his movement skills. He played slot in 2022, moved to a more traditional safety role this past season. Jimmy Ward is a guy that's best years are probably behind him. It's a great person to learn the game from.
All right, pick 86, we got the Cleveland Browns, and I like to stick it to other teams in the division. You know, we got Miles Murphy, that was a former teammate of Ruka Roroho, and I think Ruka Roroho would be an excellent addition on Cincy. So let's just make sure that's not even a possibility. The team needs a pass rushing defensive interior in the first place. Got Siaki Ika, the Mansour 7-Eleven specialist last year, the connoisseur of 7-Eleven. You need a little bit more size, or a little bit less size, but a little bit more explosiveness there. Get Ruka Roroho. Add that punch that you wanted from Perry and Winfrey. This dude's a beast.
The connoisseur of 7-Eleven.
I always say you can go to 7-Eleven and find a Siaki Ika there.
Golly. All right, man. Cowboys. Tony Pollard, free agent. Rico Dowdle, free agent. Let's get a guy that, played in the state. Jonathan Brooks. Coming off the ACL injury. I'm not too worried about it. He's not a guy with a lot of injury history. He's not a guy that has a lot of mileage either. Had a very good season this past year for the Longhorns.
All righty. So at pick number 88, we got the Green Bay Packers. And I still think they need to get some... What?
The Green Bay Packers.
Oh, okay, you're going to make fun of how I said it. I was like, oh, no, did I fuck this up?
No,
but
you're good.
We still need a safety. We got one corner, and I want to get a player who has very high heights. And Jaden Hicks showed immense potential this year. The safety class is jumbled with dudes who have that type of potential, whether even like if you want to go day 3, Malik Mustafa from Wake Forest, really love his game, but there's a ton of different safeties in this class that have very similar traits, but I love Jaden Hicks. He needs to work on his tackling, had a pretty high missed tackle percentage, but this dude has shown that he's very capable at that safety position.
Okay, Tampa Bay, I'm looking at some good value here when it comes to Kalen Carson. We got, Jalen Dean, hurt. Carlton Davis, hurt. And not that great this year. So let's get some more depth at the cornerback position.
Right. Pick 90. I already know you Cardinals fans are absolutely ripping us apart in the comment section for this, but it's time to get a defensive interior. McKinley Jackson, 320-pound gap penetrator. That's correct. He's not just a wall of meat like a Siaki Ika. He's essentially
just catching strays these last couple of minutes, man.
Dude, listen, man, Siaki Ika rubs me the wrong way, but it is what it is. McKinley Jackson's 320 pounds.
Why is he rubbing you in the first place?
That was a good comeback. That was a good one. But McKinley Jackson brings a ton of potential to the table. Great athlete for his size, and defensive interior is always going to be an upgrade on this team, so we're going to be going for it.
All right, Packers, we don't got a nickel. We don't have a slot corner. Nixon, but hey, dude, keep returning those kicks. Keep doing your thing. I'm going to go ahead and snag Florida State's own. Let's see where he's listed at. He's listed at a corner. Perfect. Jerrion Jones, guy that actually played outside, I think, for Mississippi State to start his career and actually didn't move to the slot till this past year, had the best season of his career. So someone who actually might have that flexibility to play outside. So, yeah, we're just getting more depth for that secondary, baby.
Dude, that secondary literally is just going to be completely revamped. They're going to cut everybody and just leave Jerrion Jones on an island.
Oh, no.
That's the goal. Cut Keyshawn Nixon, just put Jerrion Jones there.
No.
Cut Keyshawn.
You can have Jaden Reed as a kick returner, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. For the Lions at 92, we drafted an offensive lineman already. And I love Dominic Puny. But Frank Ragnow's been having some issues with his knee. I think it's a degenerative knee issue.
Is it a knee or foot? It might be the leg.
Leg. One of his legs is inoperable. And it might cut his career short. Let's just go back to Arkansas. Bo Limmer's there. He has center and right guard versatility. So if Puny works out as a center, who cares? You got Bo to play guard. If Bo plays as well as a center, you have Puny as a guard. Fix that offensive interior with 2 cheap but great options.
Keep it a strength of strength.
Keep the strength of strength.
Right. So I got a little fan fiction for the Ravens. I like the idea of Derrick Henry going to Baltimore. But this isn't a what do you think will happen in free agency. This is a what the heck are we going to do type of mock draft. So if Derrick Henry isn't for sure going to Baltimore, I'm going to be going with another meaty boy. Not quite as meaty, but he's meaty. And Audric Estime had a phenomenal year for the Fighting Irish.
I didn't realize he was actually a full 230, like 227. That's a big dude.
You big boy.
I was 220. Yeah, he's a big dude.
He too is a connoisseur of 7-Eleven.
No, because he's not. He's a big boy.
Okay,
he's not
not a connoisseur. Maybe like once a week.
He's a patron.
Bi-weekly, yeah.
He's
probably got their little like stamp card, you know.
Yeah. But he like goes there mainly for gas rather than like just going inside. But
oh man, this man consistently runs on a full tank. I'll just say that.
He does. He's a beast. Regardless, at pick 94 for the Kansas City Chiefs, Kelsey's getting up there in age. Someone who I think fits the system very, very well is Ben Sinnott. He's an athletic freak. He has a great motor. I think he needs to refine his game a little bit more, especially as a blocker, but he really tries, and that's a great trait because as you grow in your career, you're going to continue to get better and better, fingers crossed, and that's going to be what happens with Ben Sinnott.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Kelce's about to settle down and have some kids, get married. We're actually going to see it at the Super Bowl. Foreshadowing.
Foreshadow.
All right. So the Niners, we did address the offensive line earlier, but I think you got to keep throwing guys there. You got to keep throwing guys. So I'm going to take Zach Zittner. Very, very good prospect in my opinion. He brings some power to the position, and this is a Kyle Shanahan style offense that's been less Kyle Shanahan-esque, so to speak, as it's now incorporating a lot of the power elements into that last couple of years.
Did you see that article that came out? I think Ben Solak was the one who put it out. It was like Kyle Shanahan, like everyone's running Kyle Shanahan's offense except Kyle Shanahan. It just came out like yesterday.
That's wild, because I was talking about that during the summer in the I think I got a bookie. But I was talking about that in the summer during my deep dive on the Niners. It's like, hey, they still have a lot of wide zone aspects, but they have really amped up like the power concepts in that scheme, and you can tell just by the type of offensive linemen they've brought in, guys like Spencer Burford and Aaron Banks. Just those guys in pass protection have been kind of
fair. At pick 96, Balky loves his athletic interior offensive lineman. I'm going to take someone who's extremely smart, went to Stanford, and then he went to Michigan right after. Drake Nugent. Can play guard, can play center. Either way, you're getting a very smart player who's very athletic.
Right, Philadelphia Eagles. They love to draft talent and then to just develop that talent over a couple of years. We're going to do that with Austin Booker, man. He flashed a lot at the Senior Bowl, but there is a lot that needs work in terms of technique. Like, I love how active his hands are, but there's no purpose. There's no reason for what he's doing. The pass rush game plan isn't there. He's young. He's only, I think, a 3-year player, so he's still adding weight to that frame. Shoot, freaking Roger Rosengarten knocked him on his keister.
True.
But talent's there, man. This guy runs with a big motor. I mean, dude, in the team drills, I think it was day 2, he had like 3 consecutive just wins on like Jordan Morgan, Ethan Driscoll, who we're not going to talk about him during the draft cycle. And you had, I think it was Rosengarten, actually. He came back for revenge and he hit him with a 6 spin move.
Oh, damn. Austin Booker. It's going to be cool to see him learn from Josh Sweat there. You know how you said we're just going to continue throwing dudes for San Francisco?
That's all I do. I throw dudes.
We're doing it again. So we already got Kingsley Suamatea to play right tackle day 1, be the eventual successor of Trent Williams. But let's add one extra layer to that. Let's get Blake Fisher to learn from Trent Williams so that when Trent Williams retires, you put Kingsley to left tackle and Blake Fisher will be ready to play that right tackle. And that is how you build a dynasty right there.
I feel like one of them is probably going to be playing right tackle because McKivitz ain't it.
Well, yes. Yeah, well, Blake Fisher will become the right tackle eventually, but the short run, you got Kingsley Suamatea to play that right tackle. And then Trent's like, bye-bye. And then you got 2.
Right. Okay, so I'm going with best player available. It's also for the Bills. It's also a need to some regard. They had injuries there this past season. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. They did draft Darion Williams. Last year, didn't get a lot of playing time, and when he did, it was kind of So they could definitely add more dudes. You got your Matt Milano there, but definitely just keep throwing guys at that position until you get it right.
It's a comp pick too, so it's just a spot where you should just throw it out as someone who can make a good impact, or on like a crazy freak.
Again, BPA at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, just get the best guy for you. Speaking of the best guy for Washington, this guy, he went to the Shrine Bowl, correct?
CC.
Okay, so I heard a lot of really good buzz about him, and he's been popping off even during his games. Mohamed Kamara, edge rusher out of Colorado State. Very solid frame, comps well to be able to pair well with Adisa Isaac, who's going to be a little bit more of the technician. Mo Kamara is going to be a nice 1-2 punch with Isaac. It's a great way to now finalize the 2 offensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, and that quarterback.
Golly, dude, there it is. 100 picks. 100 picks.
We did it.
We did it. So go ahead. If you're still with us, hit that thumbs up. It's much appreciated. Much obliged. Go to Alex's channel, Hail Mary Sports. He puts out content. Here we go. Words are tough at this point. We're like an hour and a half in.
Yep.
But He puts out content on the regular. He's also another great draft mind. If you love the draft, then you will love Alex. But as always, until next time, be easy, our friends. Later.